Have you ever wondered what would happen if your partner's health began to fail before yours? For most couples, one spouse will face health challenges first, but no one prepares you for when it's your turn to become the caregiver. Today, I'm sharing critical advice that could save your relationship, your sanity, and possibly your spouse's life. What one woman told me after her husband's stroke changed everything I thought I knew about growing old together. Welcome back to the channel, where we talk about the real challenges of aging that nobody prepares you for. I'm Naim, and after working with thousands of senior couples navigating health transitions, I've seen how devastating it can be when one partner's health declines while the other remains relatively healthy. Welcome back to the channel, where we talk about the real challenges of aging that nobody prepares you for. I'm Naim, and after working with thousands of senior couples navigating health transitions, I've seen how devastating it can be when one partner's health declines while the other remains relatively healthy. This video isn't just advice, it's a survival guide, because what you do in those first months after noticing changes can determine your quality of life for years to come. Let's talk about the steps you need to take when you notice your spouse's health declining before yours. Recognizing the early warning signs. The first and most crucial step is recognizing the signs before they become crises. Many spouses miss these early warnings because they're too close to the situation or because changes happen gradually. Here are the signals you should never ignore. Physical warning signs include unexplained weight loss or gain of more than 10 pounds, shortness of breath after minimal exertion, changes in sleeping patterns, either sleeping much more or developing insomnia, loss of strength or balance. Watch for difficulties standing from a seated position, subtle changes in mobility. Are they holding on to furniture while walking? Cognitive warning signs can be even more subtle. Repeating stories or questions more frequently, difficulty finding common words or names, growing confusion about time or place, trouble following multi-step instructions like recipes, forgetting to pay bills or missing appointments. I remember Margaret, who came to one of my workshops devastated after her husband John had suffered a major stroke. I saw the signs for months, she told me, but I didn't want to embarrass him by bringing it up. Now I realize my silence cost us precious time for prevention. The reality is stark. 80% of strokes could show warning signs days or even weeks before the major event. Blood pressure changes, unusual headaches, momentary confusion. These aren't just senior moments. They're your body sounding an alarm. Taking action without taking over. When you spot these changes, how you respond makes all the difference. The natural instinct is often to take over, to do everything for your spouse. But this approach can backfire dramatically. Dr. Ellen Davis, a geriatric psychologist I've worked with for years, calls this the helpfulness trap. When you jump and help with everything, you may actually accelerate your spouse's decline by reducing their independence and self-confidence. Instead, practice what I call supportive partnership. Schedule a checkup for both of you, not just your spouse. This frames health concerns as a team issue rather than singling them out. Use language. I've been thinking we should both get more thorough checkups this year, rather than I'm worried about your health. Preserve dignity by asking for help. Could you help me remember what the doctor said? This keeps your spouse engaged in their health decisions. Document changes objectively in a health journal. This provides valuable information for doctors and helps overcome the tendency to minimize symptoms. Consult professionals privately if needed. Sometimes you need guidance on how to approach the situation. Bob, a 78-year-old former engineer, shared how his wife's reluctance to acknowledge her symptoms nearly proved fatal. She kept saying she was fine, just tired. I finally made an appointment for myself and asked if she'd come along. That's when they discovered her serious heart condition that required immediate surgery. Remember, the goal isn't to control your spouse, but to ensure they get the care they need while maintaining their sense of autonomy and dignity. Preparing for the caregiver role. If your spouse's health is declining, you may find yourself stepping into the caregiver role, a transition that can be both physically and emotionally overwhelming. Here's what experienced caregivers wish they had known from the beginning. First, build your support network before you desperately need it. This includes family members who can regularly relieve you, friends who can help with specific tasks, community resources like senior centers and adult day programs, professional services from home health aides to meal delivery. Second, protect your own health aggressively. The statistics are alarming. 40% of caregivers die before the person's receiving care. Why? Because they neglect their own health. Make these non-negotiable. Your own medical appointments, daily physical activity, even if just 15 minutes, adequate sleep. Consider respite care if nighttime caregiving is disrupting sleep. Healthy meals. Avoid the caregiver trap of convenience foods. Third, learn proper caregiving techniques. Many spouses injure themselves trying to help their partners. Take a class on safe transfers and lifts. Learn how to assist with bathing and dressing without strain. Understand medication management to prevent errors. Martha, 73, developed severe back problems after months of helping her husband out of bed improperly. If I had just learned the right technique from the beginning, I could have saved us both a lot of suffering, she told me. Navigating the emotional journey. The emotional impact of becoming a caregiver to your spouse can be profound. The person who was once your equal partner is now increasingly dependent on you. This shift changes relationship dynamics in ways many couples aren't prepared for. Common emotional responses include grief. You're grieving the loss of the relationship as you knew it, even while your spouse is still with you. This ambiguous loss can be harder to process than death because there's no closure. Resentment. Even the most loving spouses sometimes feel resentment about their new responsibilities and limitations. This is normal, but needs healthy outlets. Fear. Questions about the future can become overwhelming. How will I manage if things get worse? What will happen to me? Here are strategies that have helped countless couples maintain their emotional connection. Create new rituals of connection that accommodate change abilities. Whether it's watching sunrise together or simply holding hands while listening to favorite music. Join a support group specifically for spousal caregivers. Hearing others express feelings you thought were unacceptable can be tremendously validating. Practice intentional gratitude. Identify one positive moment each day, no matter how small. Maintain physical intimacy in whatever ways are still possible. Touch remains crucial even when other aspects of your relationship change. Consider working with a counselor who specializes in later life transitions. James, whose wife developed early onset dementia, shared this wisdom. I had to learn that it's possible to both grieve what we've lost and cherish what remains. Some days I focus on one, some days the other. Both are necessary. Practical preventative measures. While supporting your spouse, you can simultaneously work to prevent further decline and protect your own health. These evidence-based strategies make a measurable difference. Diet adjustments. Reduce sodium intake, which research shows can lower stroke risk by up to 23%. Increase consumption of omega-3 fatty acids through fish, walnuts, and flax seeds. Adopt a Mediterranean diet pattern, associated with 30% lower rates of heart disease and dementia. Eliminate highly processed foods containing harmful trans fats. Movement routines. Daily gentle exercise together, even if just walking around the block. Balance exercises to prevent falls, the leading cause of injury among seniors. Strength training with light weights or resistance bands twice weekly. Chair yoga for flexibility and stress reduction. Brain health. Daily cognitive stimulation through games, discussion, or learning new skills. Social engagement. Isolation accelerates cognitive decline dramatically. Adequate sleep. Crucial for clearing brain toxins linked to dementia. Stress management through meditation or breathing exercises. Home safety. Remove fall hazards like loose rugs and cluttered pathways. Install grab bars in bathrooms and near steps. Improve lighting, especially in hallways and stairwells. Consider adaptive equipment like shower chairs before they're urgently needed. Sylvia and Richard develop what they call their longevity routine. 15 minutes of morning stretching, a brain game over breakfast, a 20-minute walk after lunch, and meditation before bed. We've been doing this for 5 years, Sylvia told me, and Richard's Parkinson's progression has been much slower than his doctor initially predicted. When your spouse's health declines first, it's easy to feel that life as you knew it is ending. But thousands of couples have shown that with the right approach, this transition can also deepen your relationship in unexpected ways. You now have the warning signs to watch for, communication strategies that preserve dignity, practical caregiving preparation, emotional coping tools, and preventative measures that can make a dramatic difference. Remember Margaret and John from the beginning? After his stroke, they implemented many of these strategies. 3 years later, not only has John regained much of his function, but Margaret tells me their relationship has a depth and tenderness they never experienced in their earlier years. As one wise caregiver told me, loving someone through illness is hard, but it teaches you what love actually means in a way nothing else can. Also, download our free Spousal Caregiver Starter Kit with printable checklists and resources through the link in the description. Until next time, remember that how we care for each other in challenging times defines who we are.